Hello, welcome to Friday Night Shooters. I'm your host, Pierre. Today we're making the Ice Earth Stormrider shooter. Now, this is actually based off a group called the Ice Earth, which I've never really heard of. But Kenneth, he has a lot of array of music that he listens to. And according to what I'm reading, is this particular album, or this song in the album, is one of the most hard-hitting, their darkest of all the albums. So it's something that's going to have a lot of potency to it. Now, he calls for Rumple Minze. I don't have Rumple Minze, but Rumple Minze as core is a peppermint schnapps. So I'm using peppermint schnapps. The main difference is Rumple Minze is 100 plus, I think it's like 101 or maybe a little bit more proof alcohol compared to about, I think this is, if I can find it, yeah, they put it in weird places. It's 60 proof, so it's about 30% alcohol. So this is still fairly potent. It's not as potent as Rumple Minze, but it has that extra potency you normally get, because most of your schnapps are like 20-25%. It's not as high as that would be. This has a little bit of potency, but if you were to actually have this with Rumple Minze, I guarantee it's going to be a little more potent. Now, the whole concept of what each one is, the Kraken is, well, in fact, it's one of the darkest songs, one of the darkest albums of like all theirs that they made. Plus the fact that the Stormrider is like a creature, so you got the Kraken, that's where that comes into effect to it. Now the fire is destruction, which everybody knows, destruction, fire, it just destroys everything. Ice is the counteract to fire, so you got your fire and ice, your yin and yang, and then your Sprite kind of is your calmness to it. So it's definitely something that's going to be a little different. You can read the description below and it'll tell you everything about the album. I never really listen to music, so I don't know too much about them. But you can read his full description that he put below. It'll tell you everything about the concepts of why he chose each ingredient to it, what the group is, the song, and different things like that. It has a full detailed description. You can just see that below. But this is actually going to be a pretty potent shooter. Now, he said you could do this one of two ways. You can shake and strain, which one thing about shaking and straining, that's going to take the potency of the alcohol, it's going to lower it. Now, if you have Rumple Minze, it's going to be pretty high anyway, so you definitely want to shake and strain that, because you want to take that potency that you have with that and you want to lower it down some. Now, this is already low, so you can shake and strain. You don't really have to lower as much. But another thing also about shaking and strain is you're taking all them flavors, all those different ingredients, you're combining them, you're meshing them together, so you have one complete flavor throughout. The difference when you want to sit there and just pour it in as is you're going to get the flavors of the Kraken, you're going to get the flavors of the peppermint schnapps, and you're going to get the flavors of the Fireball whiskey. And then the Sprite, you're going to get everything in itself in one whole cocktail. So it's definitely going to be different. It's something that you're going to get all the flavor if you do a direct pour compared to a shake and strain. But it's a preference. It depends on which way you want to have it. You can shake and strain if you don't like really potent alcohol, or you just pour directly in if you like a little more potency, but you want to taste the flavors. You want to get that different experience of like, oh, you can taste the spices and the Kraken, the caramelization. You can taste the cold factor of the Rumple Minze, and well, in this case, peppermint schnapps, and definitely the cinnamon from the Fireball whiskey, and the citrus from the Sprite. So you're going to get all them different flavors with that. So first thing you want to do is you want to take your Kraken. The main thing you want to do is you want to take your higher proof alcohols, put them in first, and then put the other ones after. It helps blend everything together. So we're going to go first with your peppermint schnapps. So you want to take about a third ounce, about 1 part. So say about a little less than a half ounce, basically. Because you want to make sure you leave room in there for the Sprite, because you don't want to add too much. Then you figure you add your ice. Let's add some fire to help get that balance of flavor. So I'm going to take about another third of that. It'll be just under a half. Then you want to take your, this is an ounce and a half shot. Depending on what your glass is, and you'll figure it out. So it's a third, and a third, and then your Sprite on top of that. So you want to take your Kraken last, balance out them flavors. So you take about third of that, which is just under an ounce. Not exactly a quarter, but a little bit more. And you got your main three ingredients. And just add a splash of Sprite to it. There you have it. The Iced Earth Stormrider Shooter. It definitely is going to have a cold factor to it, because the whole idea of like Iced Earth, it's going to be cold. It's going to have that, the aspect of a monster, because you're using Kraken. Then you got your fire for destruction. So it's definitely something that's going to have a lot of potency to it, a lot of different elements as far as like storyline goes to it. But it's going to have a very big array of flavor. Let's see exactly how this shooter tastes. It's actually not bad. It's different. I guarantee you if I mixed all this and did shake and strain and all that, it would taste completely different. But the good thing about doing the way I did it is you're getting all the flavors. If you want to take a decent shot, you want to taste everything that goes into it. It helps balance out, unless it has some, maybe a juice and something in there to help blend everything together. Depends on what your taste is. But it's like you taste the Kraken throughout the whole cocktail. You taste that caramelized spice flavors of the rum, the nice, you get that cinnamon flavor throughout also from the Fireball whiskey. But the finishing flavor you're getting, obviously, is the pepper schnapps, the Rumple Minze in this case, if you ever use that, because it's cools the tongue. It's something that lingers throughout the beginning to the end and then far past that. So it's definitely a very cooling shot. Because every time I breathe in, I can feel the coldness over my tongue. That's one of the things I like about peppermint schnapps and things like that. It helps cool you down. If it's a hot day, take a couple shots of peppermint. Yeah, the alcohol might make it a little bit warmer, but the flavor, the coolness of the mint will help cool you down a little bit. But it's actually a really good cocktail. It definitely has a lot of sweetness to it. I mean, obviously I'm getting pretty decent amount of sweetness from the peppermint schnapps and the Fireball whiskey, but you're getting a lot of different flavor aspects with that. But as I said, just read below. It'll tell you the full description about how this cocktail came to be, what each ingredient stands for, because it's a lot in there. I'm not gonna lie, I never watched the video, I never really heard of the group, but it's definitely something you can read below and find out everything you know to find out why the shot is what it is. As many of my cocktails, they are what they are, depending on what the aspect of the storyline is. But it's a really good shot. I definitely suggest you try this out. Kenneth, this is a really good shot, and I can't wait to do your other ones later on in like next coming weeks. But hope you enjoy this. Like us on Facebook, comment, subscribe to your cocktails. Subscribe to the channel, but as always, drink responsibly.